get into art direction?
Ooh, I mean, sort of a lot of things. Just a general passion for. I don't know. I think I have a talent of what things should look like and can figure out how things can tell a story. But really, through high school and being in sort of the backstage crew with my buddies and meeting the best friends of my life and having a good time and creating a good time into something I could be profitable at and enjoy as a living, and from there just sort of worked my way up with it. So the seed was planted for me in high school, and then I just kept going and going and going.
Could you briefly explain the process of how an art director works with a director?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm usually the first person hired on the film after it's set up, and I'll get together with the director, and we will have an initial conversation about what he or she is thinking about the movie, and sort of download all their thoughts on what the film should look like, what it should feel like, and then I'll probably go away for a few weeks and come back and bring my own take back to it, and together we'll collaborate on what the film should look like, and what to do and what not to do, and how to tell the story visually. And that's sort of the beginning process of it. And then for the next 6 months, 1 year, year and a half, 2 years, however long the process is, just have an ongoing conversation about with them about what the best way to tell the story visually is. So it's a very, very important relationship.
Yeah. What's the most challenging project you've worked on?
They're all challenging because I think I get I think I started off doing sort of a low-ish budget movie called Capote with my friend and an amazing director, Bennett Miller, and we did something amazing for nothing. So oftentimes sometimes I say, the only thing that hard work gets you is more hard work. Well, I sort of have been, challenged with these assignments of, there's not enough money, there's not enough time, we want something great. Can you help us out? And we're like, sure. But they all have their challenges. So I don't know. I would say I did a movie called Fair Game with another friend of mine, Doug Lyman, director, and it was about the Valerie Plame story. And we were just off and running with a very small crew, and we were sort of shooting from the hip, and we traveled all through the Middle East and Egypt and Jordan, Lebanon, and it was just go, 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 go without really any prep, and we just went to some exotic places and just sort of had to sort of make it happen. I think it was one of the most fun times I've had, but it was definitely the most challenging.
Definitely sounds
challenging.
Yeah. Very challenging. Yeah. You've worked with Bennett Miller before.
Yes.
Right, and Moneyball.
And Capote.
Yeah, and Capote. And right now Foxcatcher. Correct?
Yes.
So what is it like to work with him?
Man, it's a pleasure. Like I said, I've known him now for about 15 years. He gave me, it's sort of like I'm a production designer, and so there's a difference between art direction and production design. Production designer is basically, in charge of the look of the movie, and he or she has art, in my case, he has art director or art directors working with them. So I art directed a bunch of movies, and then it was sort of time for me to, move up, because it's something I want to do. So he gave me my first commercial to design, which was incredible. So we sort of cultivated a great relationship. He was directing commercials, and I was production designing commercials. And then he also gave me my first movie to design, which was Capote. So we have a very special relationship, and we come from the same town in New York. So we've had a lot of similarities, but didn't know each other when we were growing up. So my relationship with him is, was that the question again? I forgot, sorry.
Yeah. Your relationship, you're working with him.
Yeah. It's just an amazing working relationship, because he's so about the story and about the script, and that's where I come from. Like I said, I come from the theater, and it's all the stuff that I do is sort of extra, so I like to be able to tell the story as the best possible way with it, and I think he's sort of from, the same world that I am, and so we start with the story and we figure out how to make it incredible. So the working relationship is so much fun. And and also sort of, it's the trust and the respect that he gives me to, allow me to bring a lot of things to the table that people in my job may not necessarily get the chance sometimes, and it's great. I love it.
Is there a style that you use in your work? Because I know, you've done a wide area of different films, adventure and sports oriented and.
Sure. I don't know if I have one style. I think you sort of have to adapt to whatever it is that you're working on. I'm working on something right now that's super colorful, and that's kind of like out of my style a little bit. I don't usually do that. But I guess people say that I'm just sort of a realist or a purist, and stick with sort of simple things that can tell a powerful story and don't understated. Understated might be a word. That might be my style. I don't know if that's
okay.
People are gonna love being who wants an understated production designer, but it's so important. Because it's not, you can't just get.
Sorry, what do you mean by understated?
Well,
Simple?
It's not. Yeah, no, complicated. Understated can be very complicated. I promise you. It's not just putting a colorful backdrop in back of the scene, so your work can show. It's really about supporting the story and amortizing a visual look through a movie that can pull you through and pull the audience through. So sometimes people say, how did you do that? Because I know if I would have panned the camera this way or this way, there was no set left, because I know that you concentrated on this one little area, and it's amazing. And that sort of like that's a compliment to sort of be able to just sort of design or art direct a certain area on a stage or in a scene and make it feel bigger than it really is on some of the lower budget things that I do. I think if you have a passion for this business, you're sort of ahead of the game already, because it's the rewards come big and small, and I would just sort of take any little reward and reward yourself for it, and allow yourself to keep going. Let the good times get you through the bad times, and just it's a cliche, keep at it. But you really, I started to think about when I started this thing, and like I said, it was in high school, and I did everything. I just worked for free. It wasn't about the money, it was about the passion. So I think if you have that, you're going to go a long way. And I encourage people to let everybody out there know what they're working on. If you're writing something, if you're shooting something, if you're sculpting something, if you're painting something, if you're experimenting with something, don't keep it here. You know what I mean? Get out and say, hey man, I just wrote 3 pages of a movie that's going to be incredible. I just painted something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because people oftentimes think like, and I'm guilty of this myself, I'm not ready to show this yet because it's not done. But guess what? People don't care if it's really not done. You know what I mean? You can get some feedback that might help you and get some insight on something. So don't be scared to tell everybody what you're doing, because filmmaking is an attitude as much as anything else, if not more. So that's my advice.
That's very good advice.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.